There comes a time when you have to get honest with yourself and realize that you are the only one putting in the effort, and it's time to stop bridging that gap and realize that nothing is coming back toward you. Welcome back to the Secure Husband Podcast. Bruce Abbott, certified professional coach and founder of SecureHusband.com. There are times where we have to accept reality. We have to accept that in this relationship, you are the one doing all of the work. Most of the time that happens when you are the anxious attachment partner and your wife is a dismissive avoidant. You are the one bridging the gap. You are the one that has taken on the entire emotional responsibility of the relationship. There is absolutely nothing coming back toward you. No affection, no initiation, no warmth, no desire. And I understand that hurts. That hurts tremendously. And if you're somebody who reacted over time with behaviors that maybe you're not proud of, I just want to let you know that you didn't cause the absence in the affection, the intimacy. 90% of the time when I talk with anxious avoidant men, their reactions, their behaviors, their neediness, their clinginess, their rage, their anger, their withdrawing, their sulking, all of this was a response. It was a reaction. But you didn't start the pattern. A dismissive avoidant does not have the capacity to hold that relationship. And so you don't cause the absence. You don't cause the disengagement. You don't cause the distance. But what you have been doing is you've been trying harder and harder and harder to cover for it. Because if you've ever said to yourself, if I don't initiate sex, nothing's going to happen. If I don't carry this emotional weight, if I'm not the one putting in the effort, then we're just roommates. If I stop trying, nothing will happen. The whole thing collapses. That's what I want to talk about today. It's that moment where everything you're doing starts becoming self-erasure and self-abandonment. And it's not because you're trying, it's just the opposite. You are trying so hard. You're attentive, you're committed, you're emotionally aware, you're physically present, you initiate affection, you initiate sex, conversation, reassurance, repair, all of these things, and you can do this for years. And you're telling yourself, this is just what love looks like in a marriage. But radical acceptance, when you just pause and stop bridging the gap, you start to realize that it's a lie. You're telling yourself that love is proven by endurance, that patience, perseverance eventually will lead to desire and affection. If you lead well enough, love will follow. And so you keep trying, you keep leading, and you do all of these things to try to keep the peace. You're smoothing tension. You swallow that resentment. You try harder, explain yourself better. You read the books. You listen to the podcasts. You come get coaching and counseling. You're working on yourself. And every time, you still feel lonely. And you just keep telling yourself, stop being needy. Be strong. Be secure. Isn't that what, Bruce, you keep saying in these podcasts? Strength without reciprocity, it becomes resentment, loneliness. So here's the thing I want you to do. And this is when I say stop chasing, this is what I mean. Stop bridging the gap. When you reach a point where your body is exhausted, you no longer have fight left in you, you stop chasing. Stop chasing intimacy that feels one-sided. Stop trying to carry the weight. You're not necessarily doing this as any kind of silent protest or punishment or as a test. You have to stop because all of this is self-abandoning and it just continues to hurt. And when you are able to finally stop chasing and just sit with the discomfort, sit with the pain, stop the trying, stop the relentless effort, what you're going to find is that truth will become clear. And clarity is really what you're looking for. If I stop, does this relationship have the capacity to meet my needs? Because what will happen a lot of times is when you stop bridging that gap, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying so hard, Days will pass, weeks will pass, months will pass. No affection, no initiation. The marriage functions only logistically. You're co-parenting, logistic schedules, and that's when the grief hits. And you need to sit in that. You need to feel the weight of the reality. Because what you're going to realize now is that the closeness in this marriage, what little there may be, only exists because you were creating it. That's structural absence. I know it feels like rejection. It's your spouse's dismissive avoidance and childhood wounds. It's keeping her from being capable of handling this relationship in a way that meets your needs. And I will tell you, this is painful. It is painful. Rejection at least acknowledges desire. Absence completely denies it. If somebody says no, you can still feel like there's something there, but when nothing comes towards you, radical acceptance, she's not reaching for you, nothing happens unless you act. Your nervous system says, I'm not apparently worthy of this. And that's that wound, that's that inner child who just was trying so much when you were young to try to earn love, earn attention, radical acceptance. You are performing the exact same thing as an adult that you did as a child. You never got that as a child, and in this relationship, she is not capable of giving you that as an adult. It's not that she doesn't love you, but she doesn't have the capacity. And I think it's more that she can't than she won't. But some wives just have so much pride and ego that they can't let go. When you're trying harder, you're telling yourself, I'm not desired unless I perform. It makes you sad. It's very sad. There's a misconception that you're anxious because you need validation. But the reality in most of these situations is that chronic deprivation creates that anxiety. The wound was always there. The wound was there from your childhood, but the deprivation just pours the gasoline on the fire. And you're not anxious because you want sex. You're not anxious because you want affection. You're anxious because your body learned connection is work and I have to manage it. But when you stop managing it, when you stop bridging that gap, when you stop putting the relationship responsibility completely on your shoulders, it's going to be tough because your nervous system is going to go crazy. Your nervous system is going to go into a withdrawal state, and you just have to sit with it. That's why it's so important to soothe your nervous system. What you're doing is you're reclaiming your integrity. You are accepting reality and not driving yourself crazy anymore. You're trying to numb the pain of the relationship with the effort. This removes that anesthesia. You feel that pain. That pain that's been spread out over years is going to come flooding you when you decide you're going to stop chasing. It's going to come intense. Just sit with it. Resist the urge to soothe the discomfort. Your wife is probably going to see what's happening. She's going to feel that you're not chasing, and it's going to feel incredibly tense in the house. Just sit with that. Soothe that nervous system. Don't initiate. Don't ask her if she's okay. Don't try to soothe the tension. Just sit in it. And what you do when you sit in it is you maintain your dignity. You maintain your integrity. You stop going forward with 100% of all the action. You get to a point where you're realizing, I am carrying this marriage, but it's not doing anything for me. And that's when the fantasy fades. That fantasy that if you just healed more, if you were calmer, more grounded, you led better, stopped being needy, that fantasy that desire would eventually awaken. Now, am I contradicting everything that I have said in these podcasts? No, because being a secure husband is how you will have healthy relationships, but it may not be with this partner. I say, this is no guarantee that it's going to save your marriage. I have seen it most of the time, because what happens is the only thing that gets through to a dismissive, avoidant spouse sometimes is loss of access. The cost of the marriage going away. For many dismissive avoidant partners, that's the only thing that snaps them out of their behavior and leads them to doing the work. If you have a dismissive avoidant partner who is not doing the work, your marriage will never turn around. I'm just going to flat out say that. But the desire from your wife is not going to awaken under pressure. Couples counseling often tanks with a dismissive avoidant. It does not awaken under obligation. It doesn't awaken just because someone earned it. That's compliance. That's not desire. I just want you to hear this because I know we talk a lot about overcoming clinginess, neediness, overcoming insecurity, putting in the work. I know it seems like I'm contradicting, but there's a fine line between putting in the work for a situation that has potential to turn around, and then there's putting in the work when you're the only one doing it. What you do is you put in a different kind of work. The work that you put in is for you, not for her. What is loving to you? For me, it was going to the gym. Because in the beginning, I went to the gym because I wanted to be more attractive. Hey, muscles, polarity, masculinity, hit the gym. But after a while, I got to a point where I was pretty fit and nothing changed. And then after a while, you have to realize that when you go to the gym as a release for your nervous system, and because it feels good to you, that's the work that matters, not trying to do it to impress someone else and get validation. Growth looks different in these types of situations. It may look like confidence or clarity, peace, a decisiveness. Sometimes growth is just sitting in unbearable pain and loneliness without chasing, without collapsing back into performance, without bargaining for intimacy and affection and desire, stating your needs clearly. I must have mutual desire in a marriage. That's a non-negotiable. You have to stay present with reality. And if that reality says there is no mutual desire here, it's not that she's evil or she's bad or I failed. It's just this is not happening. And this moment becomes a huge pivot when men stop bridging the gap. Because when you stop bridging the gap, one of two things is going to happen. Either the other partner moves towards you willingly or nothing happens. And both are answers. That's clarity. It's the truth we're afraid to accept. If nothing comes toward you when you stop self-abandoning, then that is your answer. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you're listening to this and you're in the middle of this chase and you're working so hard and you're trying, just stop. Stop chasing. That doesn't mean you failed. Doesn't mean you're necessarily sabotaging your marriage. You're just telling the truth with your body. Whether you stay or leave, whether your marriage changes or ends, this is the moment where you stop trying to earn love and you start respecting yourself again. You stop trying to earn affection and intimacy, and you practice self-compassion. You're no longer self-abandoning. You're treating yourself with dignity and integrity. Because if you've got a dismissive, avoidant spouse, she's going to follow those textbook patterns. In the infatuation stage, she's all in, and then her nervous system takes over. You didn't cause that absence. That was a wound from long before you guys even met. But you've been trying to cover for it. You've been trying to bridge that gap, sometimes for a very long time. So if you feel stuck right now between staying in a marriage and losing yourself, or maybe moving on, you don't need more effort. You just need clarity. I know that may have been hard to hear, because I know sometimes we talk in here about doing the work, putting in the work to become the secure husband. Sometimes becoming the secure husband is just realizing I'm trying to control the uncontrollable. I hope this podcast helped you. Subscribe if you don't already. Give this podcast a review. It helps other men with their healing. And I just encourage you, share this with a friend if you have somebody who's struggling right now in their marriage. And if you need accountability, if you need somebody to help hold your feet to the fire as you go through this journey, head to securehusband.com. Fill out that form for a free 30-minute consultation. It's just a conversation to see if one-on-one coaching can help you in this moment. And I'll see you on the next Secure Husband podcast. Thanks for listening.